Here's my review of Dr. Stone, Chapter 122, Brain Battle Puzzle Pieces. That's kind of a mouthful, but whatever. So we start off with Yuzu being depetrified and gotta love her outfit, kinda. I mean, they should literally wrap seaweed around the important parts. Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, now that she's up, she can actually make real outfits and fix all the broken stone bits that they still need to put together. And oh god, Taiju, you make me sad sometimes. I mean, he went in for the hug with the girl he loves, but he still doesn't fully confess his love to her because of reasons. So it just becomes a handshake. That was painful. That was painful. All right, next up was Chrome, their resident secondary scientist, and he was just so excited to finally get to know what being petrified felt like. Same as Koski, that was just hilarious. Plus, now he's all super excited. They're building a airplane drone together. He's like looking at the parts like, that! Super good for him. Next, he decided to wake up Yukio because he's an expert in 3D space, and somehow that's a thing. I kind of get it, but still, that felt like weird logic to me, honestly. I just love that dear little Suka remade his hat for him. That was so precious. Loved it. Anyway, then Amarilla shows up to tell everyone what happened, which, in my opinion, is a bad idea because, well, she was followed, so yes, it was a bad idea, but they already suspected she was a traitor, and the other two traitors were from the same village as her, so she definitely probably couldn't have stayed too long without people starting to suspect her, even the idiot Ibarra. I also just love the shot of Kohaku and Jinro being petrified. I mean, I couldn't really figure out why his stomach had been petrified too, then I realized that's freaking blood. Even his blood turned to stone. I mean, that's freaking dark right there. Also wondering if they could use that. Like down the road, they just take people's blood and shape it into garden sculptures or something. Doubtful, but that'd be interesting. And thus begins the strategy meeting for them to put together all that they've learned from this whole thing and figure out what to do next. And first off, they reason that the enemy only has one petrification beam, and they all nod and agree to that, but no one really knows why Senku said that. Until he basically has to spell it out. Essentially, if there had been more than one, Ibarra would have used it himself on Jinro and Kohaku, but because he ordered Kurosami to do it when she was far away and didn't have a good shot, that proves that he doesn't have one, and for good reason. He's afraid of petrifying himself by accident because, as far as he knows, there's no cure, and there might actually not be for him. I mean, on this island, there might not be the back caves they need to get the guano to make the right thing to depetrify people. Then Yukio reasons, based on the way the petrification beam was thrown, Kurosami doesn't actually know that the master is a statue, which definitely going to cause some cracks in their relationship right there. I mean, as far as she knows, so she could actually end up being a good person down the road, maybe? I mean, she still thinks, she's doing the master's bidding, she's doing what's right for the island, she's doing whatever. Yeah, she realizes it's not the master's sorcery that's doing it, it's this thing, but she still might think the master made it, or it was a gift to him from the gods or something. Hard to say. Anyway, then Mozu shows up, which is fairly terrifying given that even Yukio didn't hear him coming, and he's essentially a god of hearing, which concerning. Anyways, no problem knocking down Taiju, and even though he gets back up again, they're basically screwed. They have no real way to stop him. But even if they had Kohaku there, it would be a close fight. And here Chrome makes some pretty good deductions I'm very proud of. He realized that Mozu always knew they were spies. And even though he knew that, he lets Jinro go with Ibarra, putting Ibarra in huge risk, and maybe even risking his life. I don't think he knew that Jinro was a guy, but I'm sure he'll get a good laugh when he realizes that. And as they make this realization, they all collectively turn to the one man who can save their lives now, Jen. The mentalist, the negotiator, the brainwasher. He turns to Mozu and he says, "What do you say about teaming up with the Kingdom of Science? Does the idea get you excited?" I mean, it makes sense, he clearly doesn't care about Ibarra. From the very beginning, he knew something is up with Kohaku, and He probably knew she was the spy based on her movements, but he said nothing. Maybe, I mean, back then we assumed just because he might be a good guy, maybe he wanted to meet a strong woman, but that's been proven time and time again that he's just awful. Like really, really awful. So that's probably not the case. Instead, it seems like he just wants to take the throne for himself, become the new master of the island, have everyone in the island be part of his harem, which isn't really something they can give him in any way whatsoever, but they can certainly promise it to him. I mean, I'm assuming both sides end up betraying the other by the time this is all said and done. Also, very curious about Kirasami, because she still thinks she's serving the master, so the revelation that she's been following the orders of a stone statue, that's probably going to shake her a little bit. Definitely can see her betraying Ibarra there. Plus, once they realize there's a way to depetrify people, that's probably going to change a lot of minds on its own. I mean, would they even tell Mozu they can depetrify people? I mean, I don't think he's observant enough to realize that some of the people who are standing there where the statues, I don't think he cares enough about statues to really look at them. Honestly, not sure. So yeah, next chapter is going to be Jen working his magic, trying to bring Mozu over to their side. And I think it's going to work, at least on the surface. They aren't going to be some buddies working together for the rest of their lives thing, but I can certainly see Mozu just joining forces for long enough to betray them. But let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Can Mozu be trusted? And if you think he can, I have a bridge to sell you. Be sure to like, subscribe. Till next time.
Peace!